Hello, so today we're going to be reviewing Faith, her content standards and standards-based learning PowerPoint. So she is utilizing the content standard K.6, students understand that history relates to events, people, and places. That's the content standard. The substandard is 1, identify the purpose of and the people and events honored in commemorative holidays, including the human struggles that were the basis for the events. I think, first of all, her background, adorable, so I think that is really eye-catching, and let's continue on. So, first one is level of cognition. Bloom's level is apply. That is actually the one that I chose as well, so obviously I'm going to agree with it. So the level of cognition applies to kindergarten because of the many tools that they use to utilize to full comprehend the content being taught. It requires students to solve, interpret, sketch, and demonstrate. I think she did a really great job here of explaining what the level she chose is and why. So I think this is a great slide. No notes really here. It's really in-depth. I think maybe, if only anything, I mean, it's a great slide. So maybe anything, just like no, I have nothing to say. That's great. I do think that it supports the standard, and she did a great job. So let's move on. Content. Scholars will be able to pertain historical events to specific people or times during a holiday and decipher who and what goes through playing, drawing, and demonstrating, and must achieve mastery from 8 out of 10 to achieve full comprehension. So that's really cool. I like that she did that. I did not do that. I didn't kind of put a rubric on this, how she said 8 out of 10 to achieve full comprehension. I think that's so smart. I did not actually put that standard in here. So I think that is really cool. And kind of really encapsulates, I think, and supports like how often you need to do the content standard in order for these kids to have retention and comprehension. So really impressed with that. This content incorporates both knowledge and skills because it guides students to apply relevant holidays to certain people or events during, great. I think that was, again, going back, this is really great. It's got a lot of information on it. It's supportive of the actual content itself. I think, again, saying 8 out of 10 to achieve full comprehension is wonderful because it really gives you like a standard that you should kind of be trying to hit in order for these kids to have full comprehension. So really great job on this one. So next we're going to look at products. Play, draw, and demonstrate, which again I think is really age appropriate for kindergartners. I know I struggled with the iPedagogy wheel because I did feel like a lot of the things on the iPedagogy wheel were a lot older than kindergarten. So really trying to find things that would fit for a kindergartner and be able to hit this standard was a bit of a challenge. So let's see what Faith has to say about it because I'm interested. So students, especially kindergartners, learn the most effective way through play. 100%, absolutely. So dramatic play, yes. Immersive experience that can foster creativity by toys and tools. I love that. That is fantastic. I think that is such a good point. Play is such an underutilized learning tool in the classroom, especially with these little guys. It is so important. I think we have a lot of emphasis on sitting them down in front of an iPad, getting them to work, but play is so important, and I will die on that hill. So I love that she used that first. Drawing can be significant to student learning. I think that that's great too. And demonstration can be effective for students of comprehension because students, especially young students, such as kindergartners, learn the most effective through role play. Again, dramatic play, drawing, these are all very tactile things. These are all very like body kinesthetic things, which I feel like despite the type of learner that you may grow into be, like when we're in kindergarten, those very much are the types of learners that we are. We need to move bodies. We need to like touch, feel, taste in order to have that comprehension. So I think this is really wonderful. As for single nouns, I'm going to be really honest. Okay. Single nouns was hard to do. And I know I struggled with it. but I think that she did a great job. She utilizes student a few times. She does students, which makes sense. It's an easy slip up. But I do think she did a good job of that. Again, maybe bringing in like some actual activities from the iPedagogy wheel, just because I think this is fantastic, but just because that was what was on the assignment, like having the iPedagogy wheel. But I think what she did was incredibly wonderful. So I think this is just as informative as if she would have brought in actual iPedagogies, but that's just me. So quantified degree of mastery to achieve classroom comprehension. The quantified degree of mastery is set at 8 out of 10. Again, I love her goals. She's utilized them throughout this. I think that's so wonderful. She has a strong rubric in mind, and already kind of understands how she wants to grade her students, and I think that is fantastic. In student dialogue and play, students must achieve 8 out of 10 to ensure mastery. They were able to achieve this by showing comprehension and understanding with dramatic play. I think that's really great. Maybe a little bit more meat to that as like, okay, well, what does understanding with, like, is there a play that you're doing? What exactly with the dramatic play are you doing? But otherwise, I think that's a really great concept. In student drawing, these students must achieve 8 out of 10 to achieve mastery. To achieve this goal, students must be able to recognize and draw. Love that. Recognize and draw. So it kind of has, okay, so it's not just they get to draw, but they recognize the symbol and they draw each holiday. Super smart, super good. In students' demonstration, the student presenting and students analyzing must achieve the 8 out of 10 to fulfill mastery requirement. To achieve this goal, student must be attentive and active listeners to their peers and demonstrate what they have learned thus far in peer-guided learning. I love that. Would love a little bit maybe expansion on what peer-guided learning looks like exactly in this classroom, but otherwise, I think it's great. I think we're coming up on the end here. Why? She chose 8 out of 10. I think it's a high level of mastery. Wholeheartedly agree. That can ensure students' comprehension and learning. I 100% agree. If you're getting it right 8 out of 10 times, especially in kindergarten, you know that backwards, forwards, and standing on your head. So I think 8 out of 10 is a really, really great place to kind of set the standard for yourself. Students will be able to understand that history involves people in the past events and places to explain the meaning of commemorative holidays and who those holidays celebrate and recognize. I think this is great. I think she did a better job with the learning objective, honestly, than I did. I struggled with this slide as well because I'm like, learning objective and content standard feel very similar to me, but so she did a great job. 10 out of 10. I really feel like I'm understanding this content standard and how she would best implement it in a classroom and or to other teachers. So good job, Faith.